Alaskans, wherever you are, welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show. Coming to you from somewhere in Alaska. This is the place where we talk about, you guessed it, Alaska. Where we keep the mainstream media on their toes and where we are standing up for what's right in a world run by leftists. You can find out more by heading over to mustreadalaska.com and also checking out the Must Read Alaska YouTube channel for some really great content. But first, let's get this party started.
Welcome, everybody, to the Must Read Alaska Show. I'm your host, John Quick, coming to you live from somewhere in Alaska. And folks get a special treat today. We got a double header. Earlier today, we had Senator James Kaufman on. And right now, we get the amazing Mayor Edna Devries on. So welcome to the Must Read Alaska Show, Mayor. Welcome back, should I say.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's always great to talk about what great things are going on in the Mat-Su Borough. So I always look forward to chatting with you.
Well, our folks really appreciate what you're doing up there in the Mat-Su Borough. And, you know, one thing that I want to recommend for folks, if you are an elected official, whether you serve on a community council or you're a city council or borough assembly or mayor, take a look at what Mayor Edna DeVries is doing. Every week she goes on Facebook and she gives an update. And this should be a basic thing that every elected official does. Once a week, get on Facebook and give an update. Sometimes they're 5 minutes, probably sometimes they're longer. Talk to me a little bit about why you do that, Mayor. I know it's probably been a fruitful thing for you to do.
Yes, I just feel the better informed people are, the less concern that they have about government, and the better they understand what's going on. And even though you can't go into detail, and they say that we generally try to keep it between 3 and 5 minutes, maybe 7 if we really have a lot of stuff going on. But outside of that, we don't. And it's just a recap of the assembly meetings and other things that could be happening. And then also we do a pre-assembly meeting. So just to call attention to some items that are on the agenda. Of course, our agendas are quite lengthy, as many of the municipalities are. So I just try to pick 2 or 3 things like, I bet you this would be something somebody would really like to say
Yeah.
yes or no, or why are you doing that, or you've gone mad, or well, it's about time you do that. It's been needed to be done for a long time. So anyway, yeah, I enjoy people, and I get a lot of, even though, I've been in mayor position at the borough now for a little over a year and a half, I still almost every week run into somebody saying, oh, I just, enjoy that so much. And so it's been very fruitful, I believe.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, if people oftentimes don't do it because they just don't start, but you started it. Now you can look back and have, 50 of these that you've done over the last year and a half, which is it's a big effort to keep people informed. So kudos to doing it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So one of the exciting things about the Mat-Su Borough, there's several exciting things. You probably know way more than I do, but it is a growing borough. It's probably the fastest growing borough in Alaska. And they have the Arctic Winter Games coming to it in 2024. Talk to me about that.
Oh, we are excited. Not only just to showcase the borough and the state of Alaska, because there will be a couple of events that will be happening, one in Eagle River and one in Anchorage. So we'll get the community and the visitors and the participants out around into different areas. But it is just something, again, that brings communities, and in this case, even countries, together in a common theme, and just honoring our youth and their abilities and acknowledging them, and hopefully to help them realize that they can set some goals and be able to achieve those goals and get some recognition for it. And of course, on the board of directors for the Arctic Winter Games are previous year's participants and award winners. And so they're carrying it on. And so it's great. We look forward to we'll have about 2,000 to 3,000 participants, and expect probably to have another 2,000 to 3,000 visitors, family members, coaches, etc. And so it'll put a little strain, because one of the things the valley doesn't have is large hotels. We have a lot of smaller ones. We have a lot of Airbnbs. So people will step up to the plate, and we need about 2,000 volunteers, because we would like to be able to mentor and to be sure that everybody that comes feels like they take a part of Alaska and the Alaska flavor home with them.
And this is multiple countries, like you said. Is this
Right.
Canada? Is it Greenland, Iceland? Is that what it is?
Yes. Yep. Those countries for sure. And so it is, Arctic.
So the Matsu Borough is hosting this event.
Right.
How is there opportunities for people to get involved, and how would they go about doing that? My guess is maybe go to your website.
Right. Yeah, to the borough website. And if you don't know what that is, of course, just Google Matanuska-Susitna Borough. And even if you can't spell Matanuska-Susitna or even pronounce it, you can just do Matsu Borough and it'll pull up, and right on the front page is a place there. It is a separate 5013C. They do have their offices right here in Palmer. And we just had a great blessing with the fact that years ago, when it was in Fairbanks, the executive director became available, and so we were able to snag her to come down here. So she's been through it. Of course, times change and things change, etc. But she does have the knowledge of organizing it and knowing it pretty much exactly what to expect as we walk through this. So that's been a big blessing for our borough. And they now have their jackets in, and of course, you can see all of the kind of stuff. And I think they're still, of course, taking donations and sponsorships, but they're within $500,000 of their budget, and we're still 9 months out. So we're very, very happy about that. Yeah,
That's awesome. We don't have a professional football team. We don't have a professional basketball team. This is kind of the things that we get to do in Alaska, where we have the Arctic Winter Games. And so I hope that it's an amazing time for not only the Matsu Borough, but all of Alaska. And I want to encourage folks to get involved. I'll put a link in the description of the podcast. So let's talk a little bit about the Matsu Borough Community Survey. You have this survey out. My guess is that you're wanting folks to fill it out. What are some of the reasons why you all put out the survey in the first place?
Well, once in a while, we need to follow the state law, and the state laws. The state law says that boroughs should have a comprehensive plan, and we haven't had one for, I think, 15 years. Good thing the state law doesn't say, you have to have it ever so often, but and so it doesn't set a time frame, but our administration felt like that it was time that we do that. And surveys are one of the easiest ways to find out what people are thinking. Lots of times, as you know, you will have a public meeting and you'll say something and have people raise their hands, or people will testify, but there's generally always those that are fearful about testifying or shy or something. And so this is a way that people can be able to say, okay, and again, we've reached out to the community councils in our borough. We have 11 community councils, and those are the areas that are outside the city of Houston's, city of Palmer, and city of Wasilla. Now, all of those cities are, of course, citizens are welcome to participate too. But so we're making an extra effort to reach out to them, and I'll be excited to see what the results are. Sometimes you feel like, okay, well, I think this is the way people would be leading, but you can always be surprised.
Yeah. And so is this something that you and the assembly will then, listen to, compile, and have it speak into what maybe the comprehensive plan is going to look like.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be our guide for, then for a few years, but it'll probably take close to upwards to a year by the time we get the surveys all back and the planning department puts together, a booklet that will probably, it'll end up being probably an inch to inch and a half thick. So, and not only quote our temperature where we are, but where we want to be, in 2 years, 6 months, 5 years, as best as anybody can predict what the world's going to look like in that period of time.
So what is how far along is the borough on the comprehensive plan side? Is this the front end? Are you guys just kind of starting in the
just
process?
Starting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this survey probably came out maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So yeah, so it's not, it hasn't been out very long at all.
So for somebody that's never heard of the word comprehensive plan, what's the 101 or the basics of it, and why is it necessary for a borough?
Well, there's lots of decisions. Hopefully it will be sort of a guideline. Now it's not etched in stone. Okay, so if it says XXX, that doesn't mean you can't do XY or something, but it's supposed to be sort of a guideline for under our borough to have a junkyard, a gravel pit, mobile home park, things like that, you have to have a conditional use, because outside of the cities, the borough does not quote have zoning. We do, of course, have subdivisions that have homeowners associations that have covenants, but we don't have zoning. So if somebody decides that they want to put a junkyard in here or a mobile home park or something like that. And so by looking at that, and comprehensive just means big and wide to me. So we want it to be as wide open and as big, and to have as many recommendations as what the people are saying. Okay, this is what I want the borough to look like for myself for the rest of my life, for my kids, my grandkids, and anybody else that moves here.
Nice. Well, I want to encourage folks to keep your eyes and ears open, because I think that it is an important process for not only the assembly and you as the mayor, but also just for normal everyday folks who live in your borough to be a part of. So go fill out that survey if you live in the borough. I would encourage folks to do that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's probably a hot topic in the Mat-Su borough is the water body setback.
It is.
You have an advisory board that's kind of being formed. You've had assembly members do a couple op-eds about the setbacks. Talk to me about what this is and why is it something that's coming up now?
Okay. Well, we've had since 1987 the rule saying that if you are going to build a residential lot with lake frontage, now this isn't going to deal with river frontage or creek frontages because they change too rapidly, but this has to do with lake frontage. And we have, I would say, probably 5,000 plus lakefront lots in the borough, anywhere ranging from somebody that has a cabin up in Talkeetna to having a very expensive multi-million-dollar home down in the core area. So that's been in effect since 1987. People haven't always followed that. Or were probably aware of it, and of course we always have a small percentage that will say, well, I don't care, I want my house here and that's it. So anyway, and then prior to 1987, there was some areas between 1973 and 1987 that are grandfathered in. And so what is happening in some of the cases, and currently we have about less than 650 people that are having problems, whether that's to resale their property or try to get a new loan for renovating their house or repairing their house or something like that. And so that's where, and in talking to the realtors and the developers as well as the homeowners, Sometimes the mortgage companies aren't consistent. So there will be mortgage companies that will say, okay, according to the as-built, your house is, 78 feet from the water setback or 70 feet. And so we're not, if it's 70 feet, we're not going to loan. Now, the preceding owners, maybe their mortgage company wasn't that spiffy regarding it, and they would let it slide and not get a variance on it. And so now then the second party is sort of caught in a rock and a hard space. So looking at some ways to help some of those people. But say we have 6,000 lakefront lots that have a structure on them, a residential structure. And if we have a little over 600 of them, that's what, 10%. So it isn't a lot of people that find themselves in that situation, but to the one person or the 600 that find themselves in the situation, it's very severe.
Yeah.
And so that's why. And so we had a recommendation from our planning commission, our Fish and Wildlife Commission, saying, let's get a group together and see what we can do. So we're right now, if anybody hasn't applied or would like to apply until the 1st of September, we're taking names. And there's 3 at-large positions, which would mean anybody, no matter what your background is, whether you have a violation, whether you never lived on the lake or whatever. We do have one from the planning commission, one from Fish and Game, one from salmon habitat, one from DEC, and one from that has an engineer that has experience in stormwater runoff. And so those are the criteria and applications. And again, right on the borough website, there's a big square right in the middle of the page where they can click and fill out. And it's not a complicated application. It's one page plus they ask you to, if you're be sure you're not a felon or have not been charged with a felony within the last 10 years. So it's very simple.
Nice.
They all come to me, and then like all our other boards and commissions, I will make recommendations, and then the assembly will confirm. We do have an assembly meeting coming up on the 5th, which is next Tuesday. So since the applications aren't due until the 1st, and then of course this is Labor Day weekend, so we won't do any appointments then, but then our next regular assembly meeting is on the 26th. So hopefully we'll have the committee ready at that time, and then the committee will meet for up to a year. Their report is due back to the assembly in September 2024.
And my guess is it's hopefully find some middle ground between you can do whatever you want, or we're going to tear down your house.
Yeah, well, hopefully if I'm able to find some solutions, or just be sure that maybe the mortgage companies will all, they will be consistent. So to say the second owner or third owner isn't somebody that gets caught in the problem. And so, that's hopefully, and again, just reaching out, making the government as transparent as possible, and not just allowing elected officials or some appointed officials to make the decisions for the whole borough, but getting everybody's considered. There will be public meetings that the advisory board will be having, where people can come and testify one way or the other, or solution. Really, as you know, people are very smart out there, and so some of our best ideas of, just are, somebody will stop you at the grocery store and start talking about something, and they'll say, well, have you ever thought about this? And of course, lots of times I haven't thought about that, and nobody else has, but it's a perfect solution. And so that's why it's important for us to be able to get everybody's input. So
nice. Yeah. Okay, so Mayor, I appreciate your insight on that. So I'll want to encourage folks, those three at-large seats, if you're interested, go apply. What's the worst that could happen? I think being a part of the public process is very important. And so if you find yourself in the Mat-Su Borough and you're passionate about something like this, go apply, right?
Right. That's right. Water quality is very important, I think, to everybody. And so that's one of the challenges regarding not having setbacks. So that's one of the reasons I think that we want some people at large, just normal, everyday folks. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't have that many regulations in Alaska when it comes to planning out neighborhoods or houses. If somebody were to live in Portland or Seattle, they're told exactly how many inches their house has to be from the sidewalk. And
Right.
for the most part, we can do what we want in Alaska. And so every once in a while, there's going to be things like this where, you know, it's best to ask before you build $1 million house.
Yes, right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's for
So
sure.
one of the things that you all have, which is a very exciting thing, because it's something everybody loves to do at the end of the summer, is throw away all their junk in their yard. So talk to me
Yes, right.
about this thing that I think you and the assembly put together for kind of a
Mhm.
free trash couple weeks in the Matsu.
Yes, yeah, the last 2 weeks in September, our landfill and our booster station, transfer stations that are located throughout the borough will be accepting household trash. Now, this is not for the commercial people or the home builder or developer that has a lot of wood and things like that. So it's not for commercial, but it is for, and we just for the residential. And so we hope also that the people in their neighborhoods, and we're anticipating hopefully not having any white stuff fall from the sky by that time, and so we can get it picked up before we do have snowfall, and just improve the looks and the appearance of our communities. I think we all take a lot of pride in having the beauty that we have in Alaska, and especially in the Matsu Valley, that we want to be able to keep that pristine. So that will be free. You can just go. You will not have to be weighed in. One of the assembly people made the notion that the vans where they're going to be putting this stuff can be weighed prior and after it's loaded. So hopefully we won't have long lines. You'll be able to just pull in, unload, and pull right back out. So we won't be taking the time to weigh you when you come in and then wait for you to have to weigh and pay when you leave. So we're looking forward to everybody bringing trash and doing that. We do have Adopt the Highway project out here in the valley. We also have that for Adopt Your Road. So there are special bags that you can get. But of course, it's not being charged for now. So you don't need special bags. You can just put it in your regular bag that you would put your household trash in. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully that will help.
Nice.
We also go ahead.
I was just saying nice. Sorry, we have an unstable internet connection.
Yeah. One of the things just sort of along that line is that the borough started this last year, and I don't think you and I have talked about it, is we have an app on our on the website called Problem Reporter. And so if you see a junk car in the right of way, your road hasn't been graded, or it has some potholes, or you see an animal running around loose, or something like that, that you can get on the app, the Problem Reporter on the website, and say it's a road problem where it hasn't been graded. You of course will put in your name and the location, and as soon as you hit the send button, that is immediately sent to our road contractor to just either remind him, or for him then to reach out back to you and say, yes, we know it, we haven't graded, but it's on our plan to do it, you know, tomorrow or the next day or the next week or something. And so that's something again that have our administration, Mike Brown, our borough manager, and the IT department developed, and we're getting some good responses for that. So that way they don't, they can do it 24 hours a day, and so they don't take and have to worry about till 8 o'clock in the morning when the borough office closes, or if it's Saturday night when they see it, they can go ahead. And I don't know if other areas have those type of things, but again, that has been something that our public has really appreciated, to be able to do that. And so we're trying to get people to take advantage of that.
Awesome. So our 30 minutes has went by in a flash. Any last minute things here before we head out?
No, the fair is actually going on right now, and it's cloudy out today right now, but at least there's no water coming down from the sky. So if people haven't been out to the fair, come on out to the fair. They've been having record crowds, even though with the rain. So, and again, I just appreciate this opportunity to be able to talk to people. I am readily available. My phone number and email address is on the borough website. On Facebook, I have both my own and mayor's, and that has my private cell number on, and my regular Yahoo account too. So I appreciate hearing from you, and we're here to serve you, and everybody have a great fall.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us here on the Must Read Alaska show. And if folks want to help keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska, just go to mustreadalaska.com. On the right-hand side there's a little donate button. Every $5, $10, $100 helps keep the lights on here at Must Read Alaska. And until next time, I'm John Quick from somewhere in Alaska. Thank you, Mayor.
Bye-bye.